Ooh, sound mic check. What's going on, everybody?
What's going on?
Wearing Rolex.
Nothing on the wrist right now.
There we go. What are we talking today? We're talking how many watches is enough. Now, Rolex, I've come up with this theory. All right.
Mhm.
I want to say hello to everybody, obviously.
What it is, I'm eating seaweed on a Sunday, living that
Not
healthy
seaweed
life.
chips.
No, it's just pure seaweed, dude. Listen, dude, keto. That's the keto
Oh,
life.
goodness.
Keto.
Got Anthony Walls in the chat. Grand Sicko, hello, hello. Mr. Gentleman's Hangout, hello, hello. And Brent JJ, your Seamaster bezel looks brown in this pic. That's what I said as well. I thought the No Time to Die Seamaster was brown. It wasn't a black watch.
Yeah, I thought it was brown too.
All right.
Say life is crazy.
We got Marty Evans, Nick J, Brent. Hello, hello. So I've come up with this theory, Lolex, of a 5-watch collection. 5 watches, okay? You got your discount diver, your diver, chronograph, your GMT, and your dress watch, right? Yeah. Now my theory is, if let's say you don't like dress watches, or dress watches isn't your diver watches. Let's say diver watches aren't your category of choice. You prefer dress watches or chronographs. Then you can do 2 chronographs, diver, GMT, dress watch, and hold on, yeah, two chronographs, diver, GMT, and dress watch as your 5. So you get 2 of one category and then 3 of the other. Thank you. Appreciate the upvote. Yeah, I thought it was what's it called? I thought it was still brown, but hey, let me know, Alex. Tell me what you think. What do you think about that 5-watch collection?
5 watches seems to me to be a little excessive. That's just my opinion. I'm in the camp of less is more. So if you have the means to have 5 watches, I would say whittle that down to 3 amazing watches if you could, you know?
So what would be your 3 categories? Diver, chronograph, and GMT?
You got to have a diver. That's in my opinion. You got to have a diver. Chronograph too, I think is a I just like the layout of chronographs. I think they're so awesome. And then the third I would have is like a dress type of watch. But like a date 840 would be like my ideal third watch.
Right, but to be fair, a sub is also technically a dress watch, right?
Every watch, any mechanical watch is a dress watch in 2021. Nobody wears dress watches. I saw at my sister's graduation a guy wearing a full suit and a Speedmaster, and I was like, that guy has it all figured out. That dude rules. It looks so cool on him.
But that guy's a doofus.
Idiot. Yeah, I'm in my head thinking that guy is awesome, and then JJ is just like, I'm gonna hit that guy in the head with a bat. Learn your watches.
Listen, and maybe a difference in age. 10 years. I guess you see things a little differently because everything's been more casual, and especially as like now Marco's age. I mean, you guys walk around with flip flops and socks and sweatpants. I mean,
I'm wearing flip flops right now with socks.
Yeah. That's like the new. Like I don't know. To me, it look like you're in your underwear, but I don't know. Maybe it's just a generational thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, to me, being dressed down was sneakers, a pair of jeans, and a t-shirt. You know what I mean? That's pretty much you in your sweatpants. You were either going to the gym or you were running to the bagel store on Sunday morning to get breakfast after a late night out, or you were hanging out in your house watching TV. Nobody was like out, you know what I mean, in sweatpants. But
yeah.
New generation. But in a suit, I feel like you have to wear a watch with a leather strap. I mean, it could still be sporty, like a chronograph or something, but I don't know.
We got Madman saying 5 is arbitrary. I have about 10 still looking to add. Yeah, so here's my thing. I think if you hit those 5 categories, I think from there's no trouble if you add. Like JJ, you got 2 GMTs, you got a diver, you got a chronograph, and you got a dress watch, right? And then from there you just added what you enjoy. But you gotta have that 5 backbone.
2 divers, no chronographs at the moment, but I'm getting one in. It's just a matter of transitioning. I'm actually wind up with 2 or 3 by the end. You know what it is? If I didn't want to wear a gold piece or something, I would say it's much easier. You know what I mean? You go with a diver, a chronograph, a GMT, a dress watch, and maybe one, whatever you want, a winding wear or whatever you want to add for a little something different. You can 5 is definitely doable, but I mean, for me, I'm at like 10, 11, 12. It's kind of, that's where I want to be.
Pavel's saying you guys are doing banned keyword list, default keywords, or do you just... Yeah, I don't know what it is, but supposedly they ban some words or what have you. I don't know how to disable that, to be honest with you. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
I don't even know if I have anything like that on mine.
Yeah, I didn't really touch it. I just go live, and it is what it is,
Yeah, I think
Right, I've never even seen that. They're lucky I could click on the comments. That's about as far as I've gotten so far.
I figured it would be like YouTube doing it.
Maybe.
Right,
Yeah.
right. They must have an automatic filter unless you disable it. I'll look into it, Pavel. I'm sorry if you guys aren't getting your messages out there.
Right.
Danger, Will Robbins.
I'm coming in. I'm coming into it late. What are the 5?
Oh yeah, so
Missing.
I said it's diver, discount diver, GMT, chronograph, and dress watch. But you can change like the diver and discount diver. So let's say you prefer dress watches, you can do 2 dress watches or 2 chronographs or 2 GMTs, and build your collection like that.
Okay.
What do you think?
So okay, interesting. So you're saying, so I kind of look at it in terms of like what is the purpose of the watches, right? And not that you have to be like limited to 3 or 5, but then there'll be complications, which I almost think of that as like a different category, right? So for example, like you could have a field watch, right? And a field watch could be like a Rolex Explorer 1, or just I should say Rolex Explorer, and then a Rolex Explorer 2. These are both designed as like field watches or Explorer watches.
Mm-hmm.
Just one of them has the complication of a GMT.
Right.
Makes sense? So when I'm thinking of like, okay, like my perfect collection, I would maybe want something that has a chronograph, which is like, I put that under the classification of like, that's a complication. But is that a chronograph because it's a chronograph for like an Omega is like one that was designed for like space or versus maybe the Daytona, which I think of it as in terms of like, designed for like driving, right? So you have, if that's kind of making sense.
Right.
So you might have like a land, air, and sea collection, right? A lot of people like that land, air, and sea. So the complications that they're going to want on their watches that they maybe use for traveling might be a GMT. It also could be a chronograph, like a Breitling or something, right? That's a chronograph complication, but the watch is designed as like a pilot's watch or a flight watch.
Interesting. I didn't think of it that way, to be honest with you. You know, Marty Evans. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, JJ.
I was going to say, in all reality, a 3-piece could really do everything you need. Mm-hmm. I think a Rolex is on the right track. Something like having the sub on the bracelet, then getting like a speedy, something a little more sporty, and throwing it on like a brown vintage leather strap, and then getting something like a reverso on a black like alligator strap. You kind of cover your 3 bases, the 3 iconic watches. You can do anything.
That's so boring, though. That's such a boring collection. Don't you find like?
Well, you're the one who's limited it to 3, so you have to kind of, I mean, I wouldn't pick
it boring. I call it sensible, Marco.
Right, it's sensible, but it's boring because it's not. It's gotta hurt. You know what I mean? If it doesn't hurt, it's not.
How does that not hurt, dude? That's like $20,000 in watches. That hurts a lot.
Yeah, fair enough. We got Marty Evans saying, I have 3 OP39, Grape Seamaster, and a Rolex 41 millimeter, tossing up between the Yawmaster 40, the new OP41, or Batgirl. I mean, it's not really close in my opinion. You got to get the Batgirl. And the 41, I'm pretty sure he's talking about his sub in his avatar.
There is no Batgirl.
The Note 8 sub.
There's no Batgirl.
Right, it's the Bruce Wayne. The Bruce Wayne. Thank you.
LeBron James has the OP41 in red. I put that photo up. I don't know if anybody saw it.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
How weird is that? LeBron
like
James has an Oyster Perpetual.
In red? Oh, did China give it to him?
Oh.
Maybe. That'd be cool.
Kidding.
But it's just such a weird... An Oyster Perpetual. I'll never understand them selling so high. I'll never understand it. It's an Oyster Perpetual, guys.
I think people are happy with those wild color dials that Rolex really never did anything like that for in a long time.
Right.
Since the 80s, and the 80s are really back in style now, so.
That's true. The yellow one is pretty cool. If I was going to get one, I'd go yellow.
Right. We got Pavel. Yeah, not a big deal. Yeah, again, I'm going to look into the whole filter thing. I don't know if there's something I got to disable. And if I do, I definitely will what's it called? I definitely will disable it. Ryan Zinger saying he upvoted. Thank you so much. Pavel saying, am I the only one who wouldn't subject to Daytona to the shocks of a closed circuit racing? Embarrassing, I know. Oh, 100%. Guys, these are luxury wristwatches. I wouldn't take a sub diving. You got to have rocks in your head.
I wouldn't even take it in the shower. I'm
Seriously,
not that person.
wear a G-Shock, man. Come on.
This shit's too expensive, guys.
There you go, guys.
Would
You
you
gotta
wear
have
it
rocks.
like if you're in a pool party?
Oh, that's a good one. I
That's
didn't
a
think
different
about
one.
that.
Like,
Yeah,
you're
that's a
in,
different story. Yeah,
you're in Italy. Let's
You're
throw a scenario.
intoxicated. You're intoxicated. You're trying to
You're
show
in
off. It's a
Italy
little
at a
different.
wedding.
Let's say you go to Vegas and you're at a pool party and there's a million people there and you're drinking and you're hanging out in the pool. You're not going to go in because you got a sub on? I mean, I'm going in.
Depends
If I
how
got
good
my
looking
sub
the
and you
girls
guys
are.
there,
If they're worth
you're
it or
like,
not.
Lolex, get in. I'm gonna be like, I guess we're doing this, guys. We're all going down together. I'm like, let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that could go wrong on a closed circuit. Even in racing, period. On a closed circuit, I guess some of those risks are mitigated, but man, forget it. You got to have rocks in your head to go racing with a Daytona.
In some of these things, right? These are like sometimes kind of like holdover designs, right? So like a field watch. I mean, these come out of like trench warfare of World War One, right? It's like, okay, we need a watch that has 50 meters water resistant. That's where they will use steel and actually even put even cages over some of the crystals to be able to protect them. So it's kind of like, okay, this is a design that maybe came from that. Chronographs, back in like the 60s, right? You start seeing things like the Tag Heuer, the Heuer Monaco or the Daytona. It's like they became popular because, people that were doing race car driving back then, whereas now, like the technology hasn't really kept up.
Yeah.
So now,
Yeah.
you're not going to have a Daytona when you're, doing
Daytonas
like
used to be
Formula
tool watches when they had pump pushers. Now with screw down pushers, I mean, you're not timing much. Let's be honest with one another.
Yeah, and even when you think of it, even like the Omega Speedmaster, it's like now they're the guys that are in those like Falcon rockets. It's not the Speedmaster anymore. It's their X33s?
Yeah.
So.
Which, by the way, so ugly, the X33s. In my opinion, I think they're so ugly.
Yeah, not the best looking watch, but good for Omega for being at that forefront. I mean, that seems to be something that Rolex did so well through the 20th century.
Yeah. I'm just saying, make it a little more aesthetically pleasing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. We got Pavel saying, I proudly own a Batgirl. Bruce Wayne is not happening. Stop trying to make it happen.
Yeah,
Guys, Bruce Wayne makes so much more sense because it's a dressed up version of the Batman.
Right. Stop trying to not make it happen, Pavel.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Pavel. I'm not going to call it. I'm going to keep calling it Mr. Potato Head. I'm not calling it Potato Head. Okay.
Right. There you go.
Yeah, it's such like a I don't know. I think it's like a diss to the watch.
Yeah, it's model.
So let's go around the panel. Lolex, you're adding the Speedmaster, right?
Yes, sir. I'm making it happen.
After the Speedmaster, what would be next?
And I've thought about this a lot.
You haven't got the Speedmaster yet, but you need to think, what's next? What's next?
Oh, for sure. I mean, okay, well, ideally, I'm going to get this, and then I'm probably not going to buy anything for at least 5 years. Like 5 years, I'm going to be putting my money towards other things in my life. And to be honest with you, there's really nothing else that like excites me. There's no other watch where I'm like lusting after the same way I lust after a Speedmaster. So if I was going to get something, ideally, it would probably be a two-tone Daytona of some sort. Yeah, probably.
That's not a bad watch.
Yeah. So it would be a speedy, the sub 40, and then a Daytona two-tone, so I can have some gold. So that'd probably be my three-piece. Redundant, but that's kind of my style.
No, that's good. Birmingham, you just added 2 watches, so I don't know what the watch fund is at, but.
So I don't even, it's funny is, so I've kind of gone through my progression, always wanting like a balanced collection. And then I kind of have like these like limits that I'll set for myself. I'm like, hey, here's how much I'll spend for a watch. Here's how much I'll like my total watch collection, what it should cost. So I have just kind of upgraded pieces slowly over time. And the next one that I'm ready to upgrade, is going to be going from my automatic Omega Speedmaster Mark 40, which is the automatic Valjoux 7750. So this is the next one in my collection to be upgraded. So I'm kind of in the same boat as Lolex. It might be a Speedmaster. But after that, do you want to pull up a garbage watch?
Yeah, let's pull it up.
Okay. Not because I want it.
JJ, I think we're getting feedback on your end, JJ. I'm not sure.
Is that me?
I think so. Marco,
Yeah.
Birbinghart, are you guys hearing
Yeah,
feedback?
it's just a little bit. Yeah.
I'm muted. Let me know.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any
it's
feedback?
JJ.
Yeah, it was JJ. Yeah.
If anything,
Okay.
just turn down the sound just a little bit.
Yeah, scooch.
Not sure.
So I'm not gonna buy this, Marco. But if you look up the Mito Ocean Star GMT.
You're gonna have rocks in your head, but it's okay.
No, I'm not buying it. I'm just
I'll pull it up.
and then pull it full screen just from the design element. Okay. So what I like, as machining technology has gotten better, the watch companies that do the engraved rehot are becoming more legible. So it has the fourth hand that points to a rehot GMT that doesn't turn, because I don't need the third time zone with the turning bezel like a Rolex GMT Master 2, but it does have a timing bezel for a diver, right? So it's essentially a diving GMT watch.
How much is this?
These ones are like maybe $1,500. It's 44 millimeter. It's kind of big and clunky, but the idea of a GMT diver, I like that idea. Just if,
I mean, that doesn't really make sense. They're kind of like they don't make sense together. A diver and a GMT. It's like that watch that what's his name Rodin 1 made. You remember? It's like the pilot watch mixed with a GMT mixed with a dive watch.
I don't even know. I don't even know what he tried making.
It was ridiculous. I'll pull it up in a second. Brent says, "I guess the watch will be gender neutral next." Oh yeah, 100%. They've actually
if you start calling it a Batgirl, yeah.
But they started doing this. Hublot made a gender neutral watch. There was also Roger Dubuis made a gender neutral. They're making gender neutral watches. This is where we're at, boys. Yeah. Unbelievable.
A girl in my office wore a bluesy, ceramic. Bluesy.
Yeah, they're getting into bigger watches. Also, women.
She was a bigger girl though.
Yeah, I was gonna say if they got bigger wrists, yeah, they can wear a bigger watch. Yeah, but
she's a bigger.
My wife can't wear my watches. It just doesn't look right on her.
And you won't let her.
Two-tone Daytona needs a ceramic bezel.
No, I was going to say that's one of the things that makes me want to wait too at the same time, because if they put a ceramic bezel on a two-tone Daytona, you better believe I'm getting that.
I think it's worse because you're losing all that gold.
But if it was black, like a black ceramic bezel with the black dial and gold on the bracelet, I think that would look so cool.
I think they'd have to make it cheaper. There's almost no gold left at that point.
Hey, I'm not opposed to that. A little bit cheaper. I'm on board.
Buy that and swap out the bracelet for a steel bracelet. You'll be all set.
Yeah, that's true. Make a Franken watch.
We got Billy Piccolo says maybe this year's ceramic bezel on the two-tone Daytona. I hope so. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's true. They have a lot less gold. That's
yeah,
true.
but the thing is, they could fill the indices with gold, I guess, or you can fill them with like a gold-colored gold tone.
Oh my God! Imagine a black ceramic bezel with a gold dial. How amazing that would be!
I think it would be pretty cool. I think it would pop.
That would look so cool. Oh my God!
Pavel says the Speedy Tuesday Project Alaska. Have you ever seen that watch? It's awful.
Is it the red bezel?
Yeah, the huge red bezel.
Yeah, it's ugly.
Hold on, I just want to pull up this. Jubilee says, I don't know what stream to watch. What's his name live? Tim?
Tim is live right now. Yeah.
Why is he live though? We said we were doing the after show.
He wants all that super chat money.
Jubilee, go tell Tim we said we're doing the after show. Tell him to come to this show.
Marco's turn. Take a break.
Here, let's pull this one up. Let's
take a break from streaming and come stream on Marco's stream.
Look at this.
No, go take a nap.
Or hang out with your wife.
Yeah. Look at this. That's
the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
But the actual without the bezel, it's not ugly. It's actually kind of
cool.
nice. Hold on.
You know what's cool too? I wouldn't mind a Breitling Emergency. That'd be pretty sweet.
Those are tacky. I hate those.
So
watches.
tacky, but the idea of it is cool.
I really hate that.
I would really worry. So there's been some companies that come up with like these ideas of like the Coast Guard will come if like things are activated. Like Spot, I think, was a company that a couple of their users had emergencies where they end up activating it, and Spot never, like, they never relayed the signal to
No
like, whether
way,
it's the Coast
really?
Guard or whatever. Yeah.
That would piss me off so bad.
Yep. And so I like because I do a lot of backpacking and hunting, and I'll be out on my own for a while. So I use like a Garmin Mini, like the Mini InReach. It's just the technology for like standalone devices, and it's tiny, but it connects to my phone. You pay a monthly service, and you're able to do like a test page and things like that before you go out, so that you know it's working. And then it also allows me to send text messages utilizing satellite signal. So even if I'm deep enough to where there's no cell service, I wouldn't normally be able to send text. I'm able to send messages, like a certain number of free-form messages to the people that are on my contacts list.
That's pretty cool.
So for another, I mean, a couple $100, you can get like a standalone device. It's pretty small that has much better functionality than just an emergency beacon signal.
Hold on. He said this
that would
isn't
really bother me.
I think he means this one. There's this one here.
Gee.
Oh, I've never seen this one actually, to be honest.
Ew, that's ugly.
It's the same watch. It just has a giant.
Yeah, timing bezel. That's for you.
And what's the point of that again? Like, it's so it can withstand crazy pressure or something?
I think it's like cold and stuff like that, right?
Freeze.
All the temperatures, the different temperature variations.
Because when you're freezing to death, you want to know what time you're going to die. So that's important.
Right, exactly.
It's like,
Jeez, look at it on the wrist. I mean, this would go over like a cold suit, right?
Probably. That just doesn't look right.
yeah.
Oof. Can I be honest with you guys? I never liked the Speedmaster. I don't know why. I don't know what
I know
it
you're
is.
very like not into it. I can tell.
Like, it's just not like I would much rather get a nice IWC Portuguese.
Now you want to talk about boring, my friend. IWC. Come on now.
Look at
So
this.
see, when I see the IWC, right? Kind of going back to like how you're classifying watches and
Hold
building
on,
out a
fellas.
collection.
I'll be
I
right
see
back.
this as a dress watch that has a chronograph complication on it. So I definitely use this in like more formal settings versus.
But you can
know,
put this
speed.
on rubber,
Rubber.
Yeah,
or you can get like again. My pick for definitely for chronograph is this one. Or excuse me, this is a good option. This is not the one I want to pull up.
Yeah.
This is a great option, obviously.
I
would
haven't gotten
say-
to try. I haven't gotten to try one on yet. I think it'll be probably a little bit too big for me.
Yeah, same here. Unfortunately, it's 42, right?
I think so. And it's
Hopefully,
not. it's not,
where
it's
it's
not a
smaller,
thin-
like the Daytona, right?
Yeah, you'd hope.
The other one I like is the Zenith Manufacturer Edition. That's the one. I mean, you could put this one on rubber; it'd be probably pretty sporty. Same with the Open Heart. Arch had it on the Open Heart.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd like the Open Heart. I'd probably prefer this.
Most people don't prefer the open heart. I kind of like it. Kind of like a bootleg tourbillon, but
Yeah.
most people don't like it though. They like the.
I mean, I prefer display casebacks over
Okay.
like the skeleton front. But
Speedy Tuesday 2012. This one I know about. This is a nice one.
yeah, man, those got
But those
So
are
hot.
ridiculous price.
yeah.
Ooh. Jesus, Joe Kramer went on Tim's stream. Oh well, it is what it is. I mean, he shouldn't be streaming, but it's. I
And
mean,
that's
Yeah, he's got 61 people on there. I just looked.
yeah. Why is Tim doing a separate show? Again, we said we were doing the after show, but Tim started his own show. I guess I'll just end this show here and let's just go to Tim's show then.
no, keep yours.
Keep it on.
Keep yours
No,
going.
because I don't want to do like competing shows. You know what I mean? I'd rather we go to one channel as opposed to two different ones.
there's also going to be people that are going to watch the replays too.
It's fine, guys. I'll just end it now. It's not a big deal. All right, guys, we can just go on Tim's show.
Nice
Wait,
chat,
Billy,
Marco.
should we stay on this show? I don't know. I don't get this.
Ask the guys in the audience. Do you want us to stay
Yeah.
here? Should we go there?
Should we continue or let's ask the audience?
See what the people think. Joe is on Tim's stream. I really don't want to go on his show anyway with Joe. Not
It's
not
not
as-
always
Saying about us on the after stream.
stay. Okay, perfect. All right, we'll stay. No need to yell.
Let's go with Tim's channel and post the link.
Shoot.
Oh boy. All right.
Sharing him.
Tim is covering the most magical watch you know with a rainbow Daytona crusted.
Joe is rating gold. Yep, Tim is doing a Rebel stream. That is for
Yeah.
sure.
All good.
No worries.
Oh well, I'll figure it out. He's probably on Edible. He probably don't even know he's on this show. He thinks he's on yours.
No worries, guys. No worries. What I'm questioning is, JJ, I look at your collection and I think that's too much. How many is enough?
It's never enough. What do you mean? What's too much? What I can tell you a reason why I have everything. Go ahead. What's too much? What would you cut?
Okay, the
I'm not
Tudor
saying-
GMT.
That's objectively looking. I'm not. I could take
Right.
critique. I don't really care.
So
So
the
here's
Breitling, obviously, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I agree. I just haven't gotten a chance to get that out. That's
The Chuda.
right. But what if I go through the jungles of Peru? What am I going to use?
But you've got the No Time to Die for that.
That's for shopping carts in Target and ShopRite when I'm going shopping.
That's a little ridiculous, but okay.
Oh, going through the jungles of Peru wasn't ridiculous.
So here's actually something I kind of wondered, JJ, because I'm like I said, I've kind of tried to keep a balanced collection, and then just like as income or my net worth goes up, like I just kind of level up like the quality of watches I'm getting, right? But when I get another watch, because you can only wear like one at a time, right? Or maybe I only wear like 2 or 3 during the day, depending on my activities. Does your love for your other pieces, like if I get my Submariner, right? Another way of explaining it, and then I get an Explorer 2, I didn't feel like my love for the Submariner increased. It was like, okay, now I wear the Submariner less and I'm enjoying it less. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah, because you're not getting as much bonding time with it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll say this: it's always a work in progress. I'm never like, I'm not of the philosophy you can only add. I think that's a huge flaw in his philosophy, is that you should never sell. You can only add. To me, it doesn't make sense. I'd rather do like what you say and level up. Let's say now I want to get a Paddock, right? Let's say I want the 5205 and I find one for a good price that I like. I would definitely no, don't do it. I would definitely I wouldn't mind selling the Datejust Wimbledon dial. Right now I'm just waiting to see if that goes up, if it gets discontinued in April. But I would sell that. Okay. I'm laughing because I see someone wrote Jungles of Peru. I don't even know what they wrote, but I'm sure it's a good one. Can you pull up Danger Will Robinson when you talk?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have no problem selling that Datejust and like my Reverso to get money to put towards the 5205. You know what I mean? Because I like the Reverso. I think it's a great watch, but do I need it if I get a Patek annual calendar? Do I need a grand calendar from JLC as well? It's not necessary. And like you said, one of them is going to sit there. Probably the JLC will sit there and collect dust because I'll never wear it to the 5 occasions a year I go to. That's going to be the time I want to pull out that Paddock and wear it. You'll need a Rolex in the jungles of Peru. They'll laugh at the right. So honestly, I think in the end, the Tudor is going to go. The Wimbledon dial Datejust is going to go. The only ones I don't see as even like ones that I would get rid of would be my Steel Sports. Number one, because I really like them, but two, because of they hold value, and I don't want to flip them and get banned from the list. So as long as those come up, I'll always take one and add it to the collection. But I wouldn't say they would all have to count as my core collection. You know what I mean? Like if I got the gold Daytona, I really want the gold Daytona, right? On the Oyster Flex. That would be my casual watch. I could wear the day date as a little more dressed up, going out to dinner or whatever, right? Yeah. That's a perfect 2-piece. Do I need a Panda? No, I don't. But am I going to turn one down if I can get one? No. So it's going to go in the collection. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, all steel sports aside and all the collectability aside, if I had that Paddock 5205, my day date, the Newman Daytona on the Oyster Flex, and like one steel, maybe like a sub, keep the Cermet, or keep like the GMT, I'd be fine with those four, you know, or even keep the Cermet and make it a 5-piece.
Yeah, I think Pavel has a good point. You get that diminishing return on the new watch dopamine hit.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. I gotta be honest with you.
Open value, you know.
Like I've already like settled. I don't know. Maybe it just hasn't kicked in. Like I got the Rolex, or maybe I've just wanted it for so long and knew I was gonna add one for so long that it's just like it's not hitting me like I thought it would. You know what I mean? And it's fucked up to think that way because there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money. Like I don't understand, man. I don't get it. It's like 2 days and it's like finished. It's like the high of getting a new watch. There's no more high. Like I need another hit. You know what I mean? I need another one.
And then soon the $10,000 don't do it for you. You need a $30,000 watch to make you like, oh wow.
I don't understand.
You're effed, Marco.
Yeah, guys, I need to get out of this circle jerk. This Rolex circle jerk. It's not good for me. I need to go back into the real world. Elliot Schellinger brings up a good point. I can tell you this: get the Grail. I got the 116618 LB. Let's pull it up. 116618 LB. That is the landlord's watch. The landlord's watch. Absolutely over the top, ridiculous. But hey, if you enjoy it, wear it and love it. He says, and never regret it. When the platinum sub drops, I will get that and keep the gold. I got to be honest with you. It's an amazing watch. That is beautiful. But, jeez, that's expensive.
That who's the landlord watch guy? What is it? Is it
Profit
or whatever?
Yeah,
So-
Profit.
I saw a video of him, and he's like sitting at a beach, like smoking a cigar, and he's saying like, yeah, it talks about like his whole concept of the landlord watch, and he's like, the beater's not a thing. Like, if you need a beater to do like manual labor or things like that, then you're not ready for the Rolex. And
Yeah.
I really disagreed with him. Like, I get kind of where he's coming from, where it's like, yeah, you shouldn't need a beater because, like, why are you mowing your own lawn? Like, if you're having to mow your own lawn, then
Yeah, it makes sense.
you're not a
Makes
Rolex
sense.
guy. Well, but I kind of see it like as Rolex has kind of made its name by like hardworking, adventurous people that were willing to like, you know, actually use their watches as tools. And now the brand's kind of just becoming a watch for tools.
Watch for tools. Yeah, exactly. We got Birmingham. Make me a moderator. You got to play the sound.
Make me a moderator.
Or you
Go.
can make me a Marco.
You make me a Marco. You make me a moderator right now, or I'm gonna kick your fucking ass.
We got Danger Will Robinson. The Rolex is a universally recognized planetary currency. Exactly. It's an asset class. It's become an asset class. Deep Stifle saying, when I eat too many baked beans, it gives me the case of the Tudors. Gotta get rid of the Tudors, JJ. I wouldn't go that far. It's still a great watch.
Yeah, really. I don't know. I mean, I guess I could get rid of it. We'll see when I get to a point when I need to get some funding. I know Arch says, "Oh, it's cheap. It's nothing." But hey, if I could get close to $4,000 to put into a new watch, it's still money. You know what I mean? I'm not going to just throw it
Jesus.
away.
NATO says Clive the potato head making Holocaust jokes on the watchland. Has this man no boundaries? I mean, I don't really know what to say.
I know he was talking to you today, Marco. I couldn't believe it. He was addressing.
I
you.
know. I went to Blue Shirt Buddha stream, and I was on Blue Shirt Buddha stream, and you know, those guys, the regular guys are nice. I wouldn't talk to Clive. Like, I didn't address Clive when I went on because I don't really care for him. But you know, the other guys are nice. You know.
Mhm.
But it's a little. How do I say it? It's like watching paint dry sometimes. They need a young guy, enthusiastic to jazz things up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We got Dangerous Wife saying, you want more Rolex? It's an addiction. Absolutely. Like, it's ridiculous. 2 days and the high wears off. Like, it doesn't make sense, guys. I don't get it.
Yeah, the more crack you take, the more you want.
Like,
The more expensive the habit gets.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I thought it was gonna make me happy, guys. I thought it was gonna make me happy.
No.
It won't.
The only thing it made you is a moderator.
Make me a moderator. No. Oh, look at this. Elliot Schellenberger said, just don't do stupid shit like spray paint or something with it on. Yeah, of course. Avoid shocks when possible. Avoid shocks when possible. Dangerous West said, you should buy what you want when you want. I mean, I don't think that's a financially sound decision. Burbyhard, you could back me up on this. Should you buy what you want when you want?
I kind of. So this is a Dangerous Will Robinson's wife, right? I don't want to get him in trouble.
Yeah.
All right. So the way that I see it, so for me personally, right? You can go broke if you go like right into like watch collecting or drug usage, whatever it is. You can spend all your money. So I always kind of had limits set up way ahead of time, and I won't violate like the rules I set down for myself. Right. So for me, they're not investments. The amount I will spend on a watch has to be less than what I make in a month. And that's the limit that I've always set. So for me to get like a more expensive watch, it's like, okay, then I need to increase my, my monthly income has to go up to whatever level. And I feel like as long as I do that and I'm not buying on credit, I'm just paying like, cash, or I have the money in the bank to buy it, then I'm okay buying what I want, buying what I want when I want. But it's going to keep me from going broke, if that makes sense, as long as I adhere to those rules.
Yeah, 100%. You got to listen, I want to collect watches, but I want to do it in a way that's financially responsible at the same time. Like I have my whole life to collect watches, it's I have my whole life to chase that high, so to speak. So, just do it responsibly. Nothing Nation says, make me a moderator. I mean, I could give moderator out, like, no problem, because I'm not planning on doing many live streams. I just want to get my watch hours up and give you guys some content in the meantime, because at the moment, I'm on my March break, but it ends tomorrow. So after that, I'm not going to be doing as many videos or live streams as I used to be. Elliot Schellenberger says, man, the Black Bay 58 is an incredible watch. I think it's right up there with the Tudor Black Bay Pelagos is the best tool watch on the market, the most affordable tool watch on the market. What do you think? So the best tool watch at its price, obviously. But is it better than the Seamaster? That's my issue. You know what I mean? Like, it's in that weird spot.
For me, it wears a little bit bigger than the Black Bay 58. So
yeah,
I'm a fan of the Black Bay 58, but I love the clasp on it. That clasp is awesome. I really wish they would put that clasp on some of the other watches.
Ooh, look at this. What watch are you guys hoping to see at Watches and Wonders 1 month away? It's true. That's a Rolex, right? I mean, it won't really matter what watch comes out. It's not like I can afford it or I can get it at retail. So whatever comes out, it's not like we're going to get anything. But I hope genuinely they do like the Steve McQueen Explorer 2. They do like an anniversary edition. Steve McQueen
Does
Explorer.
Rolex, will they be releasing it at Watches and Wonders? Or
I don't know, actually.
because it's like a trade show, and I don't know.
They might do their
Rolex
own independent thing.
When is Watches and Wonders?
It's a month away, so in April, no? Yeah. I don't know what it is.
It's
Ooh,
like
look at this.
it's like a Basil World, but I didn't know if
Right. Razzle Dazzle. Razzle Dazzle Basil World. Which is sunk in the tank. Look at Spence R saying maybe the sub isn't the watch for you. No, listen. I love it, but I think the thing is that I've envisioned myself owning Rolex for months now. You know what I mean? That now that I finally have on the wrist, it's like I don't think I've come to terms with the fact that I own a Rolex yet. So it's like I need to like trick myself psychologically to like realize like, holy shit, you've done something so few people do, not just in their lifetime, but at your age. And that's all it is.
Danger Will Robinson says my wife's been watching too much Archie. I'm debating whether I should keep watching videos in front of my wife because she'll see it. When I got a Rolex a few years ago, it was like, hey, I want to really stretch a little bit more and buy a watch that's way more expensive than any of the watch I got before. And my wife's like, "Oh, well, I should probably upgrade my wedding ring." I'm like, "F." Like the amount of money that we spent on her ring was the amount of money that I got to spend on my Rolex.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's
Will Robinson,
crazy.
it gets to be expensive if your wife's into it too.
What do you think about this? What if they came out with a 58 GMT? Because you got to record things in 24-hour time,
Yep.
right?
I would, yeah, no, I'd buy that right away. And then assuming there's no date wheel issue, right?
Correct.
It's a little bit thick. The BlackBerry GMT is a little bit thick on me, so
I don't like it. Yeah, that's the only reason I haven't bought it already.
It is tall, and I think they are going to come out with the 58. As far as the date wheel, that kind of got resolved in like 19. Really, I mean, 18 was bad. 19, they got it kind of under control. But I have a 2020. I have had no problems, and I asked my AD. He's like, "Nah, that hasn't really been an issue lately." But I'm sure maybe there's going to be someone out there who says, "No, I got a 2020 and it has a problem." But for the most part, I haven't heard.
yeah, and they wouldn't call it. I don't think they would call it a 58 GMT. Because the whole idea behind the BlackBerry 58 is they're going back to their Tudor from 1958, right? Which was more like a dive watch that they were using for inspiration on that. So they would call it something else. But if they could put a robust movement into that case, that'd be awesome. With an aluminum bezel, that'd be great.
Look at Mr. Perpetual saying black subs get boring fast. Still agree. Watch, guys. I still love my sub. It's just I don't think I've realized yet what I've done. That's what it is. I don't think I've realized. That's all it is. Ooh, look at this. This is nasty. The BlackBerry 50 is an incredible watch for the wife or girlfriend.
My sound is interfering. Do you hear anything?
Ramlock said
It's just the background noise.
A
Yeah,
little bit of background.
yeah. It's just the background noise.
There's nothing going on. I'm all by myself in a quiet room. I don't know what the hell is going on.
Thank you.
Yeah, my BlackBerry 58 still, it still is going to be dependent on the size of your wrist. It looks too big on my wife. I mean, my wife has really tiny wrists. Like a 34 millimeter case size on her looks more proportionate. So.
Ooh, look at yes. So they did join Watches and Wonders, them and Paddock Philippe.
Okay.
So it looks like they're releasing their stuff. I think it's April 4th though. They're doing a dedicated day on April 4th, Rolex.
Okay. So
ABC says faux rivets
Baselworld,
look
yeah.
lame. What do you think? Well, Baselworld ended. It's finished.
Yeah.
Finish,
That's what I'm saying.
finish.
It's okay. So let's switch to that.
Okay.
I
Sorry.
totally agree. I'm not a fan of the faux rivets, which is why when I purchased mine, I ended up going with the leather option so that I could swap out the deployment buckle.
Mhm.
Just because of those faux rivets, and it didn't offer a whole lot of micro adjustment on
Interesting.
on the bracelet style. So
Look, we got Bear Clooney watches. Arr! There you go, guys. Hey, thanks for joining us, Bear. I don't know why Tim is live streaming at the same time as us. We said we do an after show, but it is what it is, man.
what? Yeah, I don't think Tim was on the other channel when you.
Yeah, it's all good. No worries at all. Dangerous Wife says, I love all watch talk. It's awesome. Love watches and get to experience his watch journey. Hey, listen, guys. I'm in it for the camaraderie more than anything else. And, that's all I'm here for. I'm here more so for the community. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, these are just material objects. They come and go just like money, just like everything else in life.
The camaraderie.
Exactly. What stays is the community, right? The experiences we make together. Great show, guys. Then I realized, no, Tim. I know. What are you going to do? Tim is not even talking watches. Well, that's not much of a surprise.
Well, he's talking edibles. You hear it now? I shut the other screen down. Any better?
Yes, much better.
Yeah, it is.
Much better.
I guess it's when I have the YouTube open and this open, even though it's muted. Who knows? Weekday Hustle says Joe K is sharing his life. Who cares?
Let's see. The BlackBerry 50 was made for the Ladyboy market in honkers for a dive watch. Ooh, that's nasty. That's nasty. But
So
that's what yeah, go ahead.
I will say the BlackBerry 58 wears so similar to my Rolex sub, and it's actually even a little bit thicker than my Explorer 2. So I mean, I really think that they styled it more after vintage styles, which a lot of the older vintage Rolex, they're made in a smaller size. So I wonder if as fashions changed, you got these companies that started making these huge watches, and then I feel like some companies are slimming some down to make them a little bit more wearable for more people. But yeah, for people that have less than a 7-inch wrist, 6.5-inch wrist, I mean, I think it fits great.
JJ, I gotta mute you, man. I'm sorry. That feedback is killing me. It's killing me. I'm sorry. I love you, JJ.
Oh, no problem. I'll mute it in between speaking. I thought it was done. You gotta...
Okay. We got Bear Clooney. Hello. And we got Watch Habit. I have the Black Bay 58 as a beater watch. It's actually nice and goes well with rubber.
Yeah, it's the discount diver of my of my current collection now. I mean, my older the Seikos I have from like 8 years ago. It's like I never wear them, and it's like because the Tudor's kind of taken that place of that discount diver that's now a beater watch.
Can I give everyone an extremely unpopular opinion that I'm going to get flack for in the comments?
Let's make
hit us with it.
It's a little controversial. So I've been talking with Bear, and he tends to agree with me. And I think that Jaeger LeCoultre has become the watch brand for posers, what I like to call the watch enthusiast posers. So it's like people who want kudos as a watch enthusiast, they'll buy Jaeger LeCoultre, but they don't actually appreciate what the watch is. They just buy it to get the kudos. You know what I mean?
I take that personally.
Hold on. You're saying that Jaeger LeCoultre is essentially is essentially like a hype beast brand for people who want to be in the watch game. It's a way to show that, hey, I'm a horological person. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it gives me an excuse to buy 5 a Rolex.
There you go.
Hold on. Weekday House of Joe talks a lot of game. I find that people that talk don't, and the people that talk don't. Listen, guys, we wish Joe well. I don't really care about Joe Kramer. I got to be honest with you. If you got to lie about every aspect of your life, that's just loser talk, guys. Like,
yeah, 100%. He was lying throughout that entire thing. He said that he went to his AD and they were selling pre-owned Rolexes, his AD, which is, I don't know any ADs that sell pre-owned Rolexes. Do you guys?
They sell trade-ins, not Rolex, though.
Yeah, but usually if they're doing like the used one, the ones around me, it's if they're a Rolex AD, they're only selling new, and they aren't able to go above this price, at least for the.
Listen, we don't like liars here, guys. All right, no lies.
No, look at this. Just watch therapy.
Even watch how it said JLC is nice for a total of one in a collection, no more. Like, I feel okay. You can get one, that's fine, but what I will say is this, okay? Like, for me, I look at it and I appreciate it with other people's money. Like, same with Grand Seiko. Like, you gotta have rocks in your head to buy Grand Seiko.
When you were describing the JLC owner, I was like, you know what? I probably know more Grand Seiko owners that are kind of like.
Same with Grand Seiko. There's a couple of brands. I think Lashuta hasn't entered that range yet, but I think they will eventually. That's what they're transitioning into. Mr. Jim C says, okay, guys, I'm very confused. What is going on with these streams? Guys, I can't help it. We said we were doing an after show, and Tim decided to do a show on his own. So it's like, it is what it is. If he wants to do that, no problem at all. No worries. He can run his own show.
And sorry, ABC wrote in the chat right now saying, Lolex, you gave us a visual treat to the quality of your couch. I've had this since 2010.
Yeah, you got a great couch.
Dude, this thing is mad comfy. But I got to get a new one, I agree. When I move, I'm buying all new stuff.
Yeah, there might be mom and pop that do it. Yeah, ADs can sell pre-owned, to be fair, Rolex. Like, they might be, like, there are many ADs of brands that will be an AD, but they'll sell pre-owned watches also on the side.
Yeah,
you're allowed to do that. But they're not Rolex authorized dealers.
But a Rolex authorized dealer that sells a bunch of brands will usually sell, if you like trade in one, they'll sell it for more money to another dealer. They won't really put it in their display case for $13,000. That'll get them in trouble with Rolex. Nobody does that.
Yeah. Right. I don't think Rolex ADs can sell pre-owned. I know that ADs can sell, like other brands that have other brands and their kind of showcases are allowed to sell other or pre-owned models. Excuse me. But I
What
know
would, what would stop the AD from just taking a brand new Bruce Wayne and being like, yeah,
because
you
if
know what I
they
mean? Like,
flip it
oh, we're
and they
selling
get
it for over
caught,
because it's like, oh yeah, it's the stickers already removed.
Didn't AD get in
Right.
trouble for that?
Which
Yeah.
is
They
why
got
we
in trouble
don't
for that.
use it.
ooh, danger. Will Robin says, "Oof, that hurts. I genuinely enjoy reversals, and I'm planning on picking one up sometime." Listen. Don't get me wrong. It's a great watch, but I feel that a lot of the people who collect those watches, like Grand Seiko, JLC, they just want the kudos. You know what I mean? They don't actually know or care for the watches. They just want the kudos.
I think you could say the same about Speedmasters and Omega. Like it's for the younger person that wants to be in the watch game. They get a Speedy.
Right.
What if somebody just wants a nice dress watch that's sensibly priced, Marco?
Right. I'm not saying not all, but most.
What if they
right?
want a
That's it.
classic piece that they can wear on a Sunday evening? Marco?
I claim to have no
You know
heart.
where that's from, right, Jesse?
by the way.
You know where that's from, right? Not all, but most. There you go, guys.
No, but it's true though. Like I could see that. Like when Marco is saying like a Speedy is a shitter, I feel like personally like, okay, hold on, relax, okay? There's some merit to it. Like I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, so ADs do sell pre-owned, but not all of them. Right.
But
ADs come
and the thing, kind of one of the discussions we were having like earlier today, right, is like you get, some brands just all they have is garbage, but then you get other brands where they have those flagship pieces, and I kind of feel like anytime there's a brand that really makes an impact with a flagship piece, like JLC's Reversos, you're gonna get these fans that come on board that.
Right.
They don't really love JLC, but it's like, oh, okay, yeah, the Reverso because other people want it, I'm going to get it, and it's a little bit unique and not as mainstream as
it's the obvious choice, is what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
it's becoming the obvious choice.
Yeah,
and it's fine to say that because the Reverso, everything from JLC, they're just so good.
I like,
and
JLC.
Yet, oh, that's sacrilege! I can't believe I said that live on air, guys, but it's the truth. I got it. You know what? I gotta say it. Yeah, there's some, and they sell it for more. Yeah, so there's that whole lawsuit that they're going through, right? Whereas in Illinois or something like that, in Chicago, I think it was.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Joe is on Tim's stream right now. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, who cares? Forget Joe. Yeah, that's why we were talking about Joe earlier, because he's on Tim's stream. I mean, it is what it is. Joe can enjoy.
Let's bum rush him. Well,
forget him. I have no time to waste on him. Joe, listen, I wish Joe well. I wish him well. But I couldn't care for Joe. You know what I mean? Like, I wish him well. I wish him the best of luck. He was dealt an unfortunate hand in life, but no thank you. I'll pass. Do you think Rolex will do something surprising since they came out with all those bold colored OPs? So
I hope
I'll say this, right? What's it called? Rolex Explorer. So, I hope they come out. I'm really praying they come out with something like this. This would be so cool.
Do you know how mad I'm going to be if they do that?
Oh my goodness. I love this watch. And then
I might sell my Submariner if they come out with one of those. I would sell my Submariner to fund that.
I mean, that would make it go into the first tier of Steel Sports. And the other one I really like is this one right here. This is the one. The new Milgauss.
That looks like a big Oyster Perpetual to me. It doesn't. It's very plain. They need to do a waffle dial or something like that.
Look at this. Spencer saying, "Look, LOL at all the Rolex owners saying people buy JLC and Grand Seiko for the kudos." Hey, to be fair, only 50%, only 33% of my collection is Rolex. I have a PAM and I have a shooter Hamilton. So.
And I'm 100% Rolex at the moment.
But again, that's not to say that they're not good watches. I'm saying some people, not all, but many, buy their watches for the kudos. I mean, it's just is.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, sure. In New York City, Tourneau sells pre-owned Rolex watches, and they are licensed Rolex dealer. Huh, that's interesting. I've never heard of that, actually. I've actually never heard of a Rolex AD who also sells. I mean, Tourneau is fairly big, so.
Yeah, and they're an authorized dealer for a lot of watch brands too.
Right.
And I wonder if on some of these places, if they're not actually they actually sometimes can have two companies, right? So like you might have like a separate LLC that's kind of sharing
Oh yes,
floor room
they
space,
share
but
the
it's like
space. Yeah.
the who signs on the dotted line for that check to buy the piece, it might not be the same company, right? So a little bit of a game to play there, so that it's like, oh yeah, they can Trudeau can say, yeah, we only sell Rolex, we don't do any used ones, and yet there's kind of like a little bit of a side business that does.
Watches had a sale for Watches for the biggest UK. A Rolex AD had an Explorer for sale used for nearly 2,000 over list online last week. Yeah, that's sketchy to me. I think they might be flippers, to be honest with you. Yeah, so like Govberg does it through Watchbox, exactly.
Yeah.
Ooh, watch type is saying
Marco, sorry.
looks like a smooth
Yeah.
bezel Datejust.
I wanted to jump up to one. I think Pavel was somewhere up here talking.
What's going
about
on?
me. Yeah, saying I'm
Oh,
in
what
my
did he say?
childhood bed. I'll have you know I'm in the process of buying something right now. That's where I was for the past 30 minutes. I was on the phone.
I think he's talking about me, right? I think he's talking
No.
about me.
He said Lolex, isn't it? Cute that you need to in their childhood bedroom Lolex.
I don't know.
Well,
Whatever, it doesn't really matter.
I'll have you know I'm in the process of being an adult.
You are wrong saying if you buy a nice GLC, you deserve the kudos in my opinion. Putting your money where your mouth is rather than just following the safe Rolex. You know what? You are wrong is not wrong. He is not wrong. Fair enough. And again, I'm not saying that JLC watches are not good watches. I'm not saying that they're not worth buying. I'm saying that some people I've seen are like these guys who want the kudos for being a watch enthusiast. They're not really watch enthusiasts, but they'll buy a JLC for the kudos. And again, maybe that's a really unpopular opinion, and maybe I'm crazy for saying that. It got rocks in my head. But I see it more than you think.
Would it be a mistake for them to do away with the lightning bolt secondhand though?
Ooh, but I like this. I like this model. I really like this mock-up. I think it's cool. Like this one, this is the other one I've seen. I think this is ridiculous. I don't know about you guys. And it still keeps the lightning bolt hand with the bezel. I don't really think this is ever going to happen.
Well, I like that mock-up is a countdown bezel. Would make sense.
Oh, Spencer said in Vancouver, the Zenith Tag Breitling dealer resells pre-owned Rolex and Omega all the time. Right. So what we're saying is, I mean, we don't know of any Rolex AD that's allowed to sell pre-owned Rolex, right? Because obviously, I think that would be a conflict of interest at the end of the day, because they could just get any hard-to-get model and just resell it at a major profit, since they're buying it at wholesale from Rolex directly.
I'm just saying, like the 5 that are in driving distance from me, none of them do it. And there's people
Right.
in the comments that are saying like, yeah, that there's some of this like, two separate companies kind of a thing. Other people are saying, no, it's a legit AD that, that is able to do it. So
Maybe a Midwest thing, maybe. Could be.
yeah, perhaps.
Right. So same thing here. We saw market value price, yep, it exists. But again, it has to be a separate company. Because otherwise there would be a conflict of interest 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you ever sell a Rolex at retail when you could sell it across the showroom floor for like double the price? You get a Panda. Not only do you make like the profit from selling from wholesale to retail, but you make wholesale to gray market, and then you can basically charge any price you want because they'd have total control over the gray market. You know what I mean? So all Rolex ADs would become pre-owned Rolex dealers, and they'd have total control of the Rolex market, and they could basically set prices wherever they want. Yeah, you see Pavel says he's talking about Marco, and then Bort being in Tonto too.
Yeah. Dude, that Milgauss looks amazing. That's a Milgauss mock-up,
This
right?
one here?
Yeah.
You think with the bezel looks nice? I much prefer this one here.
The no bezel?
Yeah, 100%.
I would be down for a Milgauss with a bezel that was 38 mil. That would be really cool.
I just got about why are there two lectures? I told Tim we said at the end of the show that we were doing an after show, but he decided to what's it called? Start his own live stream. No worries. He can do it. Ooh, look at this. So I've seen a Paddock AD sell the 5711s at MSRP and a used 5711 at market price. Used equals ownership has been transferred to the owner. Right. But the thing is, EPC, if I'm a Rolex authorized dealer, okay, and I'm allowed also to sell a sell pre-owned Rolex, right? I mean, who's to say you can't just sell the watches in your name? Because you buy the watches, technically you're transferring ownership, or you sell it to a family member, and then you sell it to your showroom across the floor that sells pre-owned Rolex, and you make not only the markup from wholesale to retail, but you make the markup from wholesale all the way to gray market. I mean, it's just free profit waiting for you.
I think that's part of the argument with that racketeering lawsuit, in Chicago with the Rolex dealer, is that they were essentially selling him out the back door for more than more than the market price. And some of this is obviously not all the information is not going to be released if it's an open lawsuit, but
yes, it has to come to them used, but used is technically, once you sell it to somebody else, it's officially used, right?
Right.
Or it's as soon as it walks out of the AD,
it's used. The minute the transaction is completed,
so
it's used.
I just think it's a conflict of interest. I mean, how would you ever counter that conflict of interest from a Rolex authorized dealer's perspective?
From what I know, there's a Rolex AD in my town, but then right next to it is like they sell a bunch of other watches. Like there's other ADs in there, like Breitling, Omega, and stuff like that, and they sell used watches there too.
Right.
So I think that's maybe what Joe was referencing. He was like, "Oh, my AD next to it, I bought a used watch."
Well, that's a good. What's the functionality of that Milgauss bezel? I mean, your guess is as good as mine. So what are you going to do with this bezel?
So it's a countdown bezel, right? So I'll show you. You can't.
Does it have to do with checking a pulse or something like that?
You can't make fun of me. So on a diving watch, the bezel's counting up, right? So if you dive down in 5 minutes, you can tell the amount of time that's elapsed. And then another concept would be a countdown bezel. So like on a Zen 104, I can say, okay, it'll be a bidirectional bezel, so I can twist it either way, and I can say, okay, I want to set it so that I know when 5 minutes has gone by.
I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure that the Milgauss with the bezel was used to check a pulse, I believe. Because you could check a pulse by checking someone's pulse and then counting to 15 and then timesing that by 4, I believe. Don't quote me.
Possible, but it's a 6. It's a 6. I mean, you just have to multiply it by 10, right?
Yeah.
I guess it still works in theory.
Yeah. I think that's what I could be wrong. Either way.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, because the 5 is actually 10 minutes away.
That'd be 10. Look at all this math we're doing. This watches we're talking about.
Well, no, it's because 10. It's 6, right? So let's say you would count. There's 10 times 6 is 60 seconds in a minute, right? So you could count. I don't know. I don't even know how it would work. So like each mark is like 10 seconds, right?
Well, so or is it 10? Okay, so it's on like 10 minute. So the 5 is where the 50 minute would be.
I don't know. This is very confusing.
You know what's like a pet peeve of mine? When bezels don't make sense, right? So like when there's people that have there's no fourth hand on a cheap garbage brand, yet they'll have like the GMT, like a 24-hour scale on the outside, but there's no fourth hand, or like a diving bezel, and then they do the Pepsi blue and red that's cutting right across like the middle of the bezel, like it's indicating day and night, but it's like that's not at all what it's timing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have the first clue on what the heck it's timing, to be honest with you, but hey, your guess is as good as mine. Stuart Logan has a good point. Joining late, catching up with Watch Cardo. Call the 5th watch a flex. What would it be, like a day date or a gold sub?
No, just on your. What was your fifth? What was your 5th watch? Did you call it a dress watch?
Dress
or did you
watch.
call it
the dress watch? Yeah.
Okay, so he's just saying instead of calling it a dress watch, you just call it your flex watch.
Oh.
So it could be like a.
Is it like a flex? Yeah,
it could be a rainbow
what
Daytona.
What kind of flex does he mean? Does he mean like flex as in like show off, or like flex as in like a multiple function type of watch? You know what I mean?
Flex
like
is
it's flexible.
Flex is in like hard to get. This is my.
Oh, you think that's what you're saying?
I mean,
F off piece. I thought
right,
flex
but that dress watch is supposed
rolls.
to be your F off piece, right? Technically speaking.
Well, maybe, but that's just like a low key flex, right? But if you're going to do the Archie luxury middle finger out the sunroof,
there you go.
solid gold Submariner. Like, get out of my way! Like that.
You know what I think is an affordable flex? Two-tone Datejust diamond dial with a chocolate dial, like a chocolate diamond dial. That would be a low-key flex, in my opinion, because it's like affordable, but it's still like
a diamond dial, though.
I want.
I feel
diamond.
like anything with diamond on a
Look at
dude
this.
makes it.
That's my
Pavel
flex.
says big ADs make more off diamonds and Rolex, not even close. Yes, the markup is a lot better, right? So they'll make, in terms of the margins that they make on jewelry, it's much better probably than, I mean, I'm still sure they're making good margins on Rolex, but my only question is, you know, you hear these stories, oh, you have to spend 150,000 on watches and what have you. But I don't understand that. I mean, how many people are realistically going into an AD and just dropping 100,000 to get one or a few hard to get models?
Yeah.
I mean, I think
it's
it's just a way to weed people out that they don't want to sell watches to, you know? Is that crazy?
I mean, if people got the money, I mean, you know, it gets to the point where you're just like, hey, you know what you want, you have the money to buy it. Sure, I'll buy diamonds from a main jewel, you know, like a main jewelry place.
Powell says whichever stream goes longer wins. Hey man, I'll definitely win. I'm a young guy. Like I can go for 48 hours, no issue at all. John Galt says sorry for bringing it up. I had no idea what that bezel was. Neither do we. Hey, we're still trying to figure that out ourselves. We have no idea. Marty Evans says, have you been asked out in public, is that a Rolex? No, I haven't. But I've only owned the watch a couple of days. Have you ever had that Rolex?
Yeah, 100%. I had it at a friend's birthday party with a lot of people around me. And it was just an Oyster Perpetual, but it still was like, come on now.
It was a little awkward.
Yeah, it was like a little, everyone's like, is that a Rolex? It was my friend's girlfriend or fiance who said that. And I was just like, yep, it is. And everybody was just like staring at me. And I was like, okay. This is awkward. Yeah, it's like,
what about you?
Prepared.
Not often, but it's definitely more from dudes, right? Like if people think it's something that's like girls notice, like no, it's usually guys that are like kind of into watches or just got their MVMT watch. That'll notice it, but it maybe every 2 or 3 months I'll have someone that'll compliment it.
Got a great question here from Watch Habit Marco. Thoughts on the Paddock 5212 weekly calendar? Listen, I'll say this. I think it's not a bad watch. I think it's ridiculously overpriced on the secondary market. I don't think it's worth the markup. Personally, if you're asking my opinion, I would go for a Longa Longa annual calendar with the pusher. I forget what it's called. I forget what the model's called. Yes, the 1815 annual calendar. Look at this. It's got a pusher adjuster, which moves the entire calendar along. And I mean, this is absolutely gorgeous. You get a sterling silver dial. Look at the size of these blued hands. Just absolutely unbelievable. Look at this movement and this movement finishing. I mean, Paddock cannot beat this. I'm sorry. But that weekly calendar compared to this is not even a contest. And I'm pretty sure they sell for, I'm pretty sure the Longa you could find pre-owned for less money. So that's the one I would definitely get.
Okay. All right, fellas, I got to get going.
Hey, take care, Lolex. Thank you for coming on, man.
All right, you guys take it easy. Bye, everyone.
See you later, Dave.
39%. Margins on Rolex are 39% before expenses. That's not bad. Hello, Nup Gunner. Hope you are well. We got EPC acquisition. It's a business model with the Rolex hype. You can't blame ADs for doing what they do. Capitalism, there are lots of money coming into ADs. No, listen, I understand why they would do it. I mean, hey, if I was an AD, I would do the same thing. Preferred client system is to their benefit, right? I just think it's kind of sucks for us regular guys who want to get a Rolex at retail, and it's like, you just can't get one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. Paul M says, I wore my sub for 9 years until someone made a comment on it. I mean, listen, we said this, 99.9% of people in the world are not watch people, right? If we're being honest with them. This is a very niche group of people who are very interested in watches.
And so I also feel like it's kind of gotten worse, though, in the last 9 years for, partially, I think it might be more noticeable when they switch the bezels to ceramic. It's a little bit flashier. And then I think that also just with just the reputation of Rolex, people do seem to be noticing it more, I feel like.
Right, 100%. I mean, I'll say that. And the other thing is, it's also, I mean, most people don't even know what the heck they're looking at. Let's be honest. They think watch, they're like, it's just another watch on somebody's wrist. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or they think like Tag Heuer or $100. They'll only think Rolex because of like, obviously the marketing and the brand cachet. But I mean, they obviously don't know 99.9% of the time what the heck they're looking at. You are wrong. I think Rolex gives an ego boost to some people, which unfortunately means along with good people, whereas there are also a bunch of jackasses with big egos walking around. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't disagree with you. 100%. 100 million%. There are a lot of, unfortunately, those jackasses walking around. What was that RG story? Oh, nice Rolex, man. Or excuse me, nice Submariner. No, this is a Rolex. Oh, boy, that's awful. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's true.
Ooh, if a girl notices, run. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And the next question is that fake? Ooh. And Spence says,
you're hanging out the wrong people then, though.
Yeah. If they're asking if it's fake, it's because they're superficial themselves, right? Yeah. They can't realize that if you work hard enough, anything is possible.
Hey, do you want to drop the link again?
Yeah, 100%. Thank you for reminding me.
ABC and Nubgun are both in the chat.
Sure. Anybody's welcome, you know that.
I'll be having to take off in a second, but
no worries. Spencer says that Longa is absolutely amazing. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That would be my pick. I mean, for the price of the weekly calendar, it's just ridiculous.
So between that though, and just like an 1815 up down,
yeah,
I feel like you get a lot of the same visual aesthetic just with the 1815 up down.
Yeah.
And you're saving what, like 10 grand?
Right, but it's the complication, right? There's no annual calendar on this. This is just basic power reserve, right?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, that's not to say this isn't a great watch. They're just different watches. I mean, one is complicated and the other one just isn't, right? Hello, ABC. ALS is awesome for sure. I couldn't agree more. Basically, Rolex is becoming the holy trinity. So Tudor is the new Rolex of 30 years ago. I disagree. I really think Omega is just far superior to Rolex. Or excuse me, to Tudor.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hey,
how's it going, bud?
Yeah, good. Not too bad. How are we?
We're just drooling over watches here.
As opposed to a shrink's counseling session. Sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't say that. That's horrible. I didn't say that.
So
no.
So Marco, here's one thing that I've kind of been thinking though, right? With Elongate becoming more popular, really though, it's a Phoenix brand, right?
Right.
That's trying to claim like, oh, like it's this name from a long time ago. But now that they're owned by the Richemont Group, like how much of it is well-deserved versus just their marketing's gotten better. They're backed by, a major group where they have funding for marketing.
Right. So here's my take, right? Here's my 2 cents is that Longa is taking a lot more, like, I like to compare Longa and Paddock the same way I like to compare almost Omega and Rolex, right? That Omega is kind of the risk taker. They're not afraid to kind of do eclectic designs, crazy things that Rolex, unfortunately, nowadays would just never do, which they used to do in the past. And it's kind of the same thing with Paddock and Longa. I mean, Longa is doing like double splits, triple splits. I mean, ridiculous watches here. Let's pull these up. Like a Longa triple split, Paddock Philippe wouldn't even attempt to do. And I mean, they have ridiculous watches. Like this is just one of them. I mean, look at this movement. Ridiculous. Wow. Look at that.
Dang.
I mean, you know how many pieces there must be in here, like how many parts. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And I mean, even their perpetuals with perpetual tourbillons. Hold on 1 second.
That's just like any of these kind of watches are something that doesn't appeal to me personally, but
Yeah, 100%. Listen, it won't be for everybody. But I mean, again, look at this. I mean, I get it. It's like they're part of a big group. And so to a certain, and they're a Phoenix brand on top of it. So to a certain extent, it's a little bit undeserved, but I think it's totally deserved because the movement finishing, the quality that you're getting, it's just second to none. You know what I mean? And okay, sure, granted, they don't have the history, they don't have the cachet that maybe a Vacheron or a Paddock has, and rightfully so, because they have like 200 years of history on them.
Yeah.
But the level of work and attention to detail is just absolutely ridiculous. Look at this, 781 parts in the triple split.
imagine the servicing cost on that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're buying a triple
Yeah.
split, you're not really worried about servicing costs, you know?
Well, still, writing that check.
Ooh, look at this. Give me a Paddock 5372P. Let's pull it up.
Yes. Yes.
Let's pull it up. 5372P. Ooh, look at this. This is ridiculous. Split second perpetual. I mean, again, this is insane, right? I mean, the level of attention to detail and the finishing and execution that goes into this, but oh man, there's just something about Longa that speaks to me more. And that's crazy to say.
I mean, I think they're doing great stuff. And I do think they'll become more popular over the next 10 years, but I do feel like, Paddock just staying independent versus companies like Lange or even Vacheron, companies that end up being, acquired by like the Chinese, and then, you know what I mean? And then it's like, okay, now it's just like the name that you're buying versus
right.
the heritage,
No, I get that. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. It's definitely a dilemma, that's for sure. It's definitely a dilemma. But what I will say is Longa does have a certain amount of kind of independence that the other brands don't, because I think they're probably more successful, and they're probably a lot more well-known and well-regarded in the industry. And so I think Richemont does afford them a level of independence. Now, don't get me wrong. The Longa Odysseus was definitely a cash grab by Richemont. I mean, that is just not a watch they would ever make. Like, it sticks out like a sore thumb in their collection. So I agree with you. There's part of it that's a little underwhelming because it's a Richemont brand, and I bloody hate conglomerates because they ruin watches. But, oh man, the level of finishing and
Were you talking about a
detail they put
Nautilus
into their
earlier?
pieces. No, we weren't. But Nautilus, again, same kind of thing. Just overpriced, ridiculous hype. I mean, it's a little crazy. I mean, we had, what's his name? Alex Spain come on the last live stream. He had a 5711, right? And he said, listen, I don't mind paying retail, which is what I paid for it. But paying 100,000 or whatever it's going for nowadays is ridiculous. I mean, it's a simple time only with a date watch that's in steel. I mean, it's just not worth it. Yeah. Spence R saying, perfect three-piece Longa collection, Grand Longa 1 moon phase, beautiful, 1815 annual calendar in honey, and an 1815 chronograph with a white dial. Beautiful. And then you also get this, though. Love ALS, but the case design is underwhelming. I agree. I will say this. I think the dials and the cases of Paddock are a lot nicer, much more elegant. But the, what's it called? The movement finishing, and the research that goes, research and development that goes into Longa movements is far superior.
For that money, wouldn't you just go FP Journe?
But again, that's a little different, right? Because FP Journe is, I mean, they're still serially producing watches, but they're a little bit more, how do I, like, it's nicher, you know what I mean? Longa, Paddock, those are serial producers of watches. FP Journe is becoming a serial producer of watches, but they're still very much focused on like tiny, small production run watches. You know what I mean?
I'd say it's more like Lange is the Mercedes Maybach and Patek Philippe is the Rolls Royce.
Right. Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. That's not a bad assertion at all.
And you can justify either, whatever sings to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Again, it just and I mentioned this in the video that I made why I prefer Longo over Paddock. It's two different, completely different watches, right? One is German, it's very harsh in its design, it's focused on different things versus Paddock, which is a lot more elegant, a lot more sophisticated, and focused on another thing. So it's like comparing two different styles of case making, case finishing, dial layout, movement finishing, movement layout. Like everything is different. So how you analyze one over the other is very different.
Yeah, and just because it's part of a conglomerate, I think it overall the watch industry is better for it. You know what I mean? Like even like Grand Seiko, right? Like just having manufacturing in different parts of the world that have like different design influences, just makes more options for the consumer.
Ooh, look at this. Caliber 3135. Longa makes 8,000 watches a year. Paddock makes 60,000. If Richemont intend to make as many Longa per annum as Paddock, one can reasonably expect their quality to drop. Now, here's what my argument could be. Sure, their quality could drop, but wouldn't that make Longas now more valuable in the future?
Yeah.
Right? So you get the Longas now that are absolutely amazing. And he says Richemont will F Longa, just wait. I don't disagree. I mean, listen.
That's the fear. Yeah.
Right. They already fight them with the Odysseus. I mean, the Odysseus is a ridiculous. That has nothing to do with Longa. I mean, that was a cash grab. Look at this, guys.
Are Vash Richemont as well? I think they are, aren't they?
Yeah, Vacheron is Richemont also. Look at this. 5711. Would you sell now or hold? Let's go around the panel. ABC. Sell now or hold?
Hold. No question.
Nub gunner. Why would you say hold? Hold on. Why would you say hold, ABC?
I just don't think it's going to go down.
Yeah. Nub gunner.
Yeah, I'd say hold on to it for now. Isn't there an updated one coming out?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd hold on to it for sure until then.
I would sell.
Yeah, 100,000 is not something to cough at, you know.
Yeah, I'm not a super big fan of the design to begin with. So
yeah, fair enough.
I would take the money and run. I would sell it. I would sell it and then buy a Royal Oak.
Oh.
I actually prefer the Royal Oak design.
The
yeah, I actually prefer the Royal Oak design 100%. What I will say is this. It's hard for me to say because I don't see Nautilus going anywhere anytime soon, right? So that's one thing. On the other hand, however, I mean, it is ridiculous how much they've hiked up in price. I mean, the level of watchmaking you can buy for a Nautilus if you sell it is insane. But this would be what I would say. Stick it in a safe. Don't look at it for another 20 years and thank me later.
So here's the thing that why I worry that it's at the top is because the 5711 right now, there's so many celebrities, actors, rappers that are wearing it now. And so I kind of think like it's at the point where it's like, okay, then this phase, you know what I mean? Like you're already at like peak market penetration. Like, okay, everyone wants it because of Kevin Hart has one, you know? So I don't know if it'll become if it'll be more desirable in another 5 or 10 years. It seems like it is high where it's at.
We got another question. 15400 blue dial steel, sell now or hold? Has it reached its potential? Again, it comes down to if you need the money or not, right? I mean, we're not financial advisors. We don't have a crystal ball. We can't predict if the market for a watch is going to drop or go up. Obviously, the Royal Oak has benefited from the 5711 being discontinued and becoming kind of cost prohibitive of owning. And so I don't see the Royal Oak going anywhere until the Nautilus market softens, and that's if it softens at all. I don't know if you guys would agree.
I just don't know Pateks to soften, especially high-profile ones.
Yeah,
Grand complications ones that they'll fetch 6-7 figures in auction in about 10-15 years. Some are fetching that already, and you know, a high-profile piece such as the Nautilus, I just don't think it's gonna tank or anything like that.
No, yeah, I don't think it'll tank. I just wonder like how much there's been such a huge run up in the last, since announcing it's being discontinued.
Right. But the problem is
going at that same clip.
The problem is that I think so. The first generation of Nautilus, right? I don't think they had a sapphire case back, right? So you didn't have a sapphire case back. Then they came out with another version, which was a slightly uglier version. I forget what it is. I think it was a 3711 or something like that. Let me look this up. Hold on. But it had a really ugly dial. I don't like it at all.
Hasn't it always had that Cordro dial?
Yeah, it has, but there was one here. This is the one. They also came out with this. Let me pull it up. This version, which I really hate. But the most beloved is the 5711, right? Because this one is just striking. I mean, it's beautiful. But, man. In terms of future collectability, I think this is the one to get. I just don't see the market softening like ABC says. And same goes with the 15400. I think a rising tide raises all ships because the Nautilus, Steel Sports Blue dials are going up. I just don't see the 15400 going down in price either. Is the 15400 discontinued? Yeah, it is, right? Because it got replaced by the 15500, right? maybe 15400.
I lose track of Royal Oaks.
I know, I can't, like, there's all these references. It's like, I have no idea. 15400. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they discontinued this one. But correct me if I'm wrong down in the chat. It's going to go down, but it's not going to go up. The more I don't think the new knowledge comes out, everybody's going to want it. It's going to be almost the same as I have a much better bracelet. If the new one comes out. No, but if the new one comes out, and let's say it's really good, right? That's fine. It won't affect the 5711 market because there's a supply issue now, right? There's a limited amount. They're not producing anymore.
If anything,
and if the new one comes, sorry, go ahead.
Go on. No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, if the new one comes out and it's an absolute dud and people don't like it, which again is doubtful, but let's say it is, or at least in the initial years. I mean, can you imagine what the 5711 will do?
Well,
Ridiculous.
Actors and rappers will always go for the new one.
Right,
a certain
exactly.
element of them will go for the new one. Just like with Rolex, anything discontinued has just gone up. Look at the pre-ceramics, especially the GMTs. They're going, crazy money compared to what they were sort of pre-20, sort of 2015, 2016.
Well, people were saying this was like well below retail, like a few years ago. The black
until it got discontinued, it was going for less than pre-ceramic. So the minute it got discontinued, it skyrocketed.
Yeah, I got a steal on it. So,
is your stick dial? Is the two lines, or is it with the bar?
Or is it the Roman?
It's got the bar, yeah, the across the top and the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, just the regular.
Doesn't matter.
Look, Mr. 2, I wish you guys were over on the Tim Wright show. Needs a reality check. Well, Tim Wright isn't supposed to be streaming, so I mean, I don't know what you want me to say.
Yeah, I think Archie kicked him off saying, look, you go and have dinner, and then you said you're going to be doing the live stream. Yeah. So maybe there was that confusion.
He's got Joe. He's got Joe on there.
Hey man, he can enjoy his time with Joe. He's got Bear Clooney says, I predict a VC overseas exploding in value. I mean, yeah, these are getting again very, very. Or sorry, let's just go back to this very quickly. So it is discontinued, the 15400. Again, a rising tide raises all ships because obviously Blue Dial, Steel Sports, especially from the kind of biggest high horology brands, AP and Paddock. I just don't see it going anywhere. I don't see the value of the 15400 going anywhere. Is it time to sell or hold? If you need the cash, sell it. But if you want to keep it because you think it'll keep going up, if you want my opinion, again, for entertainment purposes only, I don't see the value going anywhere but up. So that's my prediction. Bear Clooney says, I predict a VC overseas exploding in value. Same kind of principle, right, ABC?
They've had different marks, haven't they? Some have been more dog-like than the others.
Right. I really don't like the, what's it called? The Gen 2.
Oh, okay.
Gen 2, yeah.
Man.
I don't know, just Vash, because of the fact that they've targeted the Chinese market, is that why people don't really talk about them?
Yeah, but they're getting very hard to get an AD, and they're selling well over retail, right?
I mean, yeah, they're amazing watches,
Yeah.
no doubt.
We got a good point here made by Caliber 3135 saying, Marco, you may be right. However, the 3700 took a hammering when the 5711 took off. Right. So this is the model. It has no running seconds, and I don't believe it has a display case back. So that's why, well, I think that the 5711 is a little bit more valuable because of that, right?
How much does a 3700 fetch nowadays? Can we pull that up?
Yeah, Chrono 24.
Interested to find out.
Let's pull it up.
I'm sure it's tens of thousands.
150,000 Canadian. Yeah, this is
Whoa.
just a ridiculous one.
Who knows
Like
what
I would
Canadian?
I would never spend that.
Well, look at this. Full inbox. So let's say in the 150,000 Canadian range, right?
That's not hammering in my book.
Yeah.
I guess
And then-
obviously when it came out, but look what's happened since.
100. So
Superseded it.
Jesus, look at this. 162,000, 133,000.
Is that a brilliant white, or is that like an off-white cream dial for the
This one
yeah,
here?
that one.
Let's pull it
Yeah.
up. It looks just white, just like matte white almost.
Yeah, it looks kind of easy on the eyes compared to the Polar Explorer. Oh, that's a 5711.
Weekday Hustle says, F me, I can watch the Feminine Joe life story anymore. Now it's turned into Archie attacking his dead father. I never thought I'd see the day. I'd be grateful for ABC talk. Paolo
Baby
says,
needs to hear pure class.
Chef to bits. And
Tim-
Bear was talking about
Iconic.
the third gen.
Okay, yeah, 100%. Yeah, Gen
PC,
3
which I
overseas
like. Yeah,
is gorgeous because that base plate, the base plate on the bezel is what makes it. And you get to
Which
swap
one's-
bracelets.
yeah. The quick that quick change is pretty awesome.
Release.
Which which one's the one that's the grenade hand or the grenade dial?
Aquanaut.
It's
Aquanaut.
like
Yeah,
it's,
Aquanaut.
okay.
Yeah.
That's got a normal size and jumbo size, or mini size, mid size and jumbo size as well.
And considerably more affordable than a.
I mean, Mr. Two, to be fair, Tim does the live streams every single night. I think you'd take a night off and give us one night, huh? Don't you think? I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is, guys. No worries at all.
But I'm
VC is a
okay,
desperate
so-
brand. They are hurting real bad. Ooh. Yeah, they are. They're hurting in a lot of countries besides kind of Asia.
Yeah, I don't like the VCs, especially the one that what Archie was showing. He was contemplating for a hot minute there.
Look at this. Guys, leave Joe alone, guys. Joe is in need of desperate help. I'm sorry. Joe is just in need. Make me a Marco. You should be a moderator. Hold on, let me just double check. He is. Sunday's Marco 9. Oh, guys, I think on that I'm gonna wrap.
You
the
make
show
me a
up.
Marco. You make me a moderator right now, or I'm gonna kick your fucking ass.
Oh boy. Honestly, that soundbite will live in infamy. Live in
Never gonna go old.
It's the one
Yeah.
that keeps on giving. Keeps on giving.
It's hilarious. Guys, I'm gonna end the show. I'm gonna wrap this show up on that. I'm exhausted. I'm really tired.
He's gonna jump on Tim's live.
Oh, I'm not jumping on Tim's. I'm not jumping on Tim's. I'm going straight to bed.
All right.
Have a good
All right,
night,
enjoy that
everybody.
sub.
Thank you all for joining
Nice
me.
talking to you guys.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone in the
Marco.
chat
Thanks,
for joining
guys.
me.
Cheers,
Thank
everyone.
you to the panel. Cheers, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.